Welcome to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. I'm Nicole Aimée Schreiber, and this is the show.
Hell yeah, I'm Fizza Dasani.
I'm Zara Ali.
I'm Paula Vegan-Allen.
And your voice sounds sexy.
Sexy AF.
Usually I sound like I'm doing an allergy commercial. But right now I sound like I'm doing a different kind of allergy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is I was super sick for basically like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks.
What happened?
And
Did you catch something
Something, I don't know.
from all your travels? Because you are on the road quite a bit.
Did
I
your
was
parents
right?
vaccinate you, Amy?
They did.
Nicole
They
Aimée.
did.
That's
Called
good.
you Amy.
You
That's
understand?
weird.
Everybody calls me Amy. It's kind of
It
crazy.
was weird. It just
It's
slipped
not
off the
just
tongue.
you.
I've never
It's
called you that before.
everybody does that.
Why?
It's-
Because you're very much Nicole Aimée Schreiber.
Yeah. But it just slipped off my
Yeah.
tongue.
I mean, most of my friends call me Nick, which is kind of, I love that.
Do you ever
Nick?
get Nicole Aimée?
Well,
That's the French
oh, yeah,
pronunciation.
the M-A, yeah. Sometimes like if people know how to pronounce it, they'll
Yeah.
say it like that. But most people are just like Amy. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going. I mean, it's better than trying to explain my last name.
Wait, were
which
you
is
born Nicole Aimée? Was that your? Is
Nicole,
that?
yeah, Nicole Aimée. I was named after a French actress.
Oh, so this whole Nicole Aimée is just people just don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow, that's your
Oh.
stage name.
But you don't want to correct
And
people?
they can't get Schreiber right either. So
How do people not get Schreiber
Yeah,
right?
I don't know what to say
you'd
about
be
that.
fucking surprised.
It's
Scriber.
it's kind
Scribe.
of a common
I mean, I feel
name.
like all of us kind of have names
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess.
that on
Yes.
some level are probably fucked up.
I'm still shook
Maybe.
though that your real name is Nicole Aimée.
Yeah.
And you've never corrected people?
I mean, I did for a period of time, but then I was just like,
It's
I don't
too
really,
exhausting.
I don't really care.
Yeah.
So is that your
I-
name then, or do you? What do you introduce yourself as? Nicole. Aimée?
Nicole.
Oh, okay.
I just want to make it clear. I call all white girls Amy. So
Okay,
I just
perfect.
wanna- I
It's
just
not
wanna make
personal.
sure
It
you
really wasn't
understand.
a slip of the tongue. It's just
It
how it's
wasn't.
done.
You're white, so.
Very much intentional. No, so when I started comedy, I was like, oh, I'm gonna go by Nicole Schreiber, and then I was like, oh, that's so Jewy. Like I don't want to give it away before I get there, you know.
Yeah.
Then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go by Nicole Aimée, and then people were fucking up Aimée, so I was like, all right, fine, Nicole Aimée. So I went by Nicole Aimée for a while, and then I can't remember who I spoke to, but they were like, why are you not using your last name? You're in the business of being Jewish, like you should be using Schreiber. So
Has
I
it
started
helped?
using it again, and then I was like, well, now everybody knows me as Nicole Aimée, so I can't get rid of Nicole Aimée. I have to go by all three names. So now people think my first name is a hyphenated first name, like Jessica Michelle.
Yeah.
That's that's her full name. That's not her middle name.
Yeah.
So,
So does she have a middle name?
no, it's
Oh,
her
okay.
first name is Jessica Michelle, her last name Singleton.
Mm-hmm.
But I call her Jess
Mm-hmm.
or Jessica Michelle or Jams. But anyways, you can just call me Nicole. But some people call me Amy too. It's kind of wild.
Because
It's
you
not
guys like hang out all the time, and she's like Jessica Michelle, and they're like, she also has 2 names.
yeah, she also has 2 names. But seriously, people will sometimes only call me by Amy. Dave has done it before. Dave Hallam, who was just in the studio,
Yeah.
he's called me Amy before. I mean,
You
it
feel it.
happens all the time.
Do people announce you on stage as Amy sometimes? Amy Schreiber?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Really?
Amy Nicole. Yeah.
Amy
I've been brought up on stage
Yeah.
as Amy Nicole.
But you're like known. So who would screw that up?
I don't know.
You're
I don't,
famous. You're
I don't-
famous.
I don't even care, to be honest. I'm just like, just move over and let me tell my fucking jokes.
I
Right.
remember you posted though, because you got passed at the Comedy Store.
Congratulations.
And you
Thanks,
posted
thanks.
and you were like, what parts of my name should I include?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, I feel like everybody was like, do all of it.
Yeah.
Take
Take up the whole
wall.
wall.
Take as much real
most
estate
people,
as
yeah,
you can.
most people are like, take up as much real estate as
Yeah.
possible. Just get yourself in there.
Did
Yeah.
you did you
The
do
name
that?
name ceremony's this month.
Hell
Oh,
yeah.
that's so exciting.
name
Do you know which wall you're getting?
I'm getting the wall right when you're driving down the driveway of
Hell
the
yeah.
Comedy Store, so you'll be able to see my name.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
because they're
so
starting
fun.
to fill that
Yeah,
up,
uh-huh.
right?
Yeah. That's so cool.
I'm
Do you
just
think
waiting
it's-
for somebody to fucking drive into it and just ruin my name.
It's
So-
pretty interesting. You added Schreiber, then you get passed at the Comedy
Yeah.
Store.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I guess what people say.
But you've been going with Schreiber for a while now.
Yeah, I've been going with
For as long
Schreiber
as I've known
until
you.
like my first year of doing comedy. Since my first year of doing comedy,
So how's the journey been so far?
it's a fucking journey.
Did you start out here?
Yeah,
Because
I
you're
started
from
out here.
Michigan, right?
I'm from Michigan. I started out here. When I started, I always go back to Michigan a lot. So I've done a lot of comedy back in Detroit. So I'm really close with all the Michigan comics. But yeah, I started I started here. I actually started doing improv first
In LA.
in LA.
Where?
So I did improv. I went through IO West.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
I mean, they're still in Chicago, aren't they?
Yeah,
It's not.
they're still in
gonna be
Chicago.
all right.
IO
Barely.
West.
IO Midwest?
IO.
just IO.
IO. Yeah,
IO.
it's just IO.
Okay.
IOG?
IO. We won't sexually assault you.
Oh shit.
We promise.
Yeah. So they, but yeah, the woman who runs IO West, Charna, in Chicago, just I don't think she knows what she's doing, but whatever.
She's a
Improv-
polarizing figure.
Very polarizing
I
figure.
haven't heard any of
But
this.
yeah, unless you're like in the IO world,
Unless you're in the improv.
even if
world.
you're in
I
the
am in
improv
the
world,
improv
even
world.
if
I
you're
have
in the
no
improv
idea.
world, you don't
No,
know.
at UCB, but that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
but you don't know about it's. I mean, this is such old news.
Yeah.
There was a director. Sorry, I keep yawning, guys. I just woke up from a nap and came here because I was like, I'm gonna take a nap and be fresh. And I think I took one of those naps that was slightly too long.
You woke up in the middle of REM again?
Yeah.
Yes, basically. And I
In-
was like,
in the middle of a
"Fuck."
REM cycle.
So
yeah.
then I was like, all right, and I gotta go do this podcast. And I was like, I need to wake up. And then I took a shot of espresso, and it's done fucking nothing for me.
Coffee makes me sleepy, dude. I was just talking about
Y'all
that.
are weird.
That's wild.
you
that's
guys, yeah,
wild.
that's weird. That's not.
You just took espresso and did nothing.
I
It'll-
mean,
it'll
but it
kick
didn't
in.
wake me up yet.
Oh.
It'll kick in. When did you take it?
I love how you were referring to it like a medication. When did you take it? I took it. I woke up. My alarm went off at 5,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went upstairs. Made it 5:50. I don't know,
Yeah.
5:15.
Yeah, it should. You should be feeling it. You know. That's interesting.
But anywho, so I did improv first, and then the thing about improv that I think sucks is doing it is like herding cats. You have to get so many people together. You have to. There's so many elements that have to be in play for it to happen. Not even have the show, but have a practice.
Yeah.
You know, you've got minimum 5 people in an improv group. So you're coordinating a minimum of 5 schedules. Then you have to get a coach because you can't just do improv all willy-nilly. You need a coach.
Yeah.
And then the coach comes into play. So then there's that person's schedule. And then you have to pay money to have the coach. And everybody's, you know, putting in anywhere from $5 to $10 for a rehearsal to have this coach, depending on how many people are in the group. Then you have to find a space that's big enough to have a rehearsal. So you might be able to have it at somebody's apartment, or you have to just rent a space. And then comes the show, and it's like you have to rent a space to have the show. You have to, it's just too much.
Yeah.
But it's a good muscle to have.
That's exactly why, like, when I was interested in comedy and I first started, my ex was doing improv, and I was like, I'm gonna do stand up because him like coordinating everybody. I was like, that's not. I don't want
it's the
any of
least
that
desirable
shit.
thing. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But with stand up, it's like you just go. You just do
yeah.
it. And, you know, you can write what you want to say and write what you want to do. You don't need to rely on, you know.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
And it's your material.
Yeah.
Well, coordinating this podcast has been sort of like coordinating an improv practice.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's just
Because you're given the time restraint from the studio
yeah,
where you record.
just 3 of us,
And then
And
our
then your 3
schedules.
schedules.
and then
Yeah.
And then the schedule of the person, you know, with whom you're. And when I was like, for example, I was coming here, I was running a few late, and you're like, well, we're running 15 to 20 late. And it's just like, imagine like every time you do a podcast, it keeps running late. It's just hard to keep schedules.
yeah.
So
Improv first.
improv first, then stand up. And then once I started stand up, I was still very much in the improv world, and not very like fully dedicated to stand up. And I don't know. I feel like improv is its own form of like a cliquey high school, and so is stand up. Stand up's like a little high school.
I
and-
do feel like I'm in LA high school sometimes.
Yeah,
you
and
feel
And
like
the
they're
LA
on-
comedy high school.
yeah.
Do you feel like they're on opposite ends of the spectrum where like stand-ups we're trying to find our specific voice, and in improv it's sort of like you're being other people? Someone brought that up the other day, and I was just curious. You do improv too, so I was like, what do you
Yeah,
guys think about that?
I feel like I don't know if it's like being other people. There are characters, and you
Yeah.
try to fill the role of the character, and so there's like acting and stuff. But I think it's like, I think that the main thing that it taught me was like how to react honestly, and that like helped me react honestly on stage for stand up.
Yeah, that to me is the real only benefit of improv is just being able to listen and like live in the moment.
Yeah.
Like you have to. You have no choice.
Yeah.
You have to listen. You have to be in the moment in improv. Otherwise, you're not doing. Here's my thing about improv. I would be doing improv shows, 2 nights a week. And then the other nights of the week, and then I'd have class 1 night a week. And that's the thing about improv. In order to do improv at any of the big improv theaters, you have to be enrolled in their classes.
Yeah.
It's just.
Which is expensive.
Which is wildly expensive. Improv is a really great thing to do if you can afford to have your parents send you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how anyone is paying for fucking improv classes in this town without some form of help.
I don't
It's
know. I mean, it's
impossible.
like getting up to like $550, $600
Yeah,
a class.
you're
that
buying
much now?
Yeah.
you're buying
Yeah.
headshots every single time you want to do an improv class.
Wait, really?
It's a huge expense.
It's about that much.
It's
for,
about
like,
that much,
a good
like-
headshot,
Oh,
like
gotcha.
$500-600.
yeah, like that money I could be
But-
using for headshots. I don't even
Yeah.
get headshots.
I mean,
that
a few years
often.
ago it was like $250, $300 for
Yeah.
a class, but this is like
Yeah,
It's
so when
gone
I
up
did
tremendously.
when I
Shout
did
out to the
IO,
diversity scholarship.
oh, that's
yeah,
great.
UCB has a pretty good scholarship. They give it out to
I don't know how many,
Yeah,
but they do it twice a year, and
Yeah.
it helped me a fuck ton.
Yeah. Yeah, when I
500
when I was
a class,
doing
I had no idea.
iOS, it was like
Expensive.
250, 300.
yeah, same.
And I was like that. I was like, oh my god! And now I see UCB. It's crazy what they're charging.
$450.
Yeah.
They have a lot of fucking nerve.
Yeah, and then the groundlings. So like I was considering improv. I've taken some improv here and there, but like it's so frustrating because it's like with groundlings, I mean it's like one of the most prestigious ones to go to, but you don't necessarily get passed. So it's
Yeah.
like so
You're putting all this money in
You're putting all this
it might not even amount to anything.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And,
And I
like
hate
you
that.
may not get into the advanced class and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's like
And I think you can only audition
What-
for Sunday company once, and if you
Yeah.
get rejected, then
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if
that's
you
it.
even
about
get
living in
there,
the moment, you guys.
sure. Yeah. But
a
it-
very expensive
What were you saying?
moment.
It's about if you even get there.
If you even get there, then
Yeah.
yeah. But like you might not even get the chance to even audition for Sunday Company. It's like there's you do an audition for groundlings, then there's like basic, intermediate, advanced writing lab.
yeah.
Well, this is like so that's a class is like 8 weeks or whatever, $450. I feel like when you first start out in stand up, you're spending a lot of money on like gas and like open mic. At least now, like they're charging a ton. Like I'm sure I don't know what the calculations are and if it adds up, but it's like I also feel frustrated with stand up too because like I'm now like I'm on shows. Do I ask them to be paid? How much do I get paid? But I'll lose the stage time. Like that's also an issue in stand up.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
we're not
it's-
getting paid
it's-
enough there either.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy the fact that shows. If there's a show that makes any sort of profit at all whatsoever and doesn't pay their comics, I hope they all fucking burn in hell. I won't even take shows anymore unless I make some sort of money. If I'm going farther than my like immediate area, no chance.
Yeah.
Like I will not go to a show in Hermosa Beach unless I'm getting money. End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not happening.
I always ask that too. Like if I have to drive
Yeah.
out of like the LA area, I'm like,
Yeah.
how much is it paying?
Yeah.
Like that is definitely like, and I've had people like, really? I'm like, are you kidding me?
Gas
like,
is expensive.
Gas is $4 in some places. Right?
yeah. Someone's like, well, you don't want to just do it for like 20 minutes of stage time. I'm like, you're asking me to drive 2.5 hours during rush hour?
Yeah.
Are you insane?
Yeah.
No.
Insane.
No.
Yeah.
So, but there are comics out here who I don't know if their parents are paying for them to be here
Yeah.
or, they're just so hungry for it
Yeah.
that they're able to do it. And it's just, it makes me a little angry because it's like, why should I devalue my time,
I think-
for something you're making money on?
Yeah.
What people don't realize outside of the industry is how much we have to invest in ourselves
Yeah.
as artists just to
Yeah.
have a career.
Yeah. So there's the open mics, there's the gas to get to the mics when you're starting out. I mean, the headshots, fuck it. Are you
Yeah,
kidding?
yeah.
And as a woman, our hair, our makeup, our clothes. I mean,
Yeah.
I have 3 sets of wardrobes based on auditioning alone. Like
Yeah.
I have a complete audition wardrobe for commercial stuff, and then I have a complete audition wardrobe for theatrical stuff. It's like the amount of shit you have is crazy.
And the Ubers and Lyfts back from mics at night. If
Yeah.
you like, because like I take
Yeah,
public
Yeah,
transit.
me too.
Well, yeah, we were
And
talking about that.
and
And
I'm not taking fucking
so
public transit at
expensive.
night. No chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So like to get here, it's like I took an Uber here. To get back, since it'll be early enough, I'll probably take the subway home.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I won't because I have to meet someone. But you know, it's like, I don't know. It's a lot of it adds up and you don't get paid.
Yeah. Or you
And-
get paid in drink tickets and curly fries.
Yeah, great. Drink tickets. I don't drink, so I don't give a fuck. And
Yeah.
curly fries, I
Yeah.
mean, comedy's just making me fat. is
Yeah,
what it is.
exactly. No, I had this after like the first 2 years of like the whole like curly fries and drinks and all that stuff. I'm like, this is making me look bad on camera for
Yeah.
the TV stuff that actually pays you money.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
You know.
Some people
It's-
really do not give a fuck. Like
Yeah,
they'll
some people
drink
really-
every drink ticket worth.
Yeah, there's a comic who asked me out recently, and he's a big drinker, and I was like, no. And he's like, why not? I was like, you're drunk almost all the time.
Yeah.
Every time I see you, you're drunk.
Yeah.
And he's like, so you're just not gonna go out with me? He's like, I thought we had a connection. I was like, I mean, we do, but like you're drunk all the time. And I like fucked up his world.
Wow.
And he was like, but that's just part of being a comic. I'm like, no,
No,
it's
it's not.
that is absolutely not part of being a comic. He's like, but it's just part of my life, you know? He's
Is
like,
this
you know,
like a professional comedian?
I mean, define professional.
I don't know. Like
He's not like he's.
he at
it's
your
someone
level?
who's known. Yeah, is he
It's,
like
yeah.
your
It's someone who's known. I mean, he's not known. Like, if you went like to New York City and was like, "Hey, Mark Norman, do you know so and so?" He'd be like, "Who?" So he's not known, but he's, you know, like you guys would know him. I'll tell
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
who it is off
Yeah.
air. But yeah, and so he's stopped drinking for the past month.
Wow.
Wow, he must
He
really
lost
like
80
you.
pounds.
Yeah.
He's like
Oh,
now
he's
he's
in love
He
in
with
lost a whole
commercials.
human. But I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And like, and he parties too. He does drugs. I'm like, how quickly do you want to die?
Are you
Yeah.
sober across the board?
I'm not like sober, like I had a problem sober. I just don't,
You're responsible.
yeah, I don't love being fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, do I want to go to the desert and do mushrooms? Yeah, absolutely. Because who doesn't? Like, once you do
I've
mushrooms.
never
and-
done mushrooms.
Oh
Have you
my
all done
God, I just did
mushrooms?
mushrooms.
Never.
Oh, we
I
gotta-
usually microdose mushrooms
Okay.
for depression,
Yeah.
but I recently
They say
went-
it's very good
It's
for
great. It's fucking
microdosing as well for
fantastic.
depression.
Sometimes I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do it as consistently as I would like to, but yeah,
How do you? What's the
I
dosage?
buy it microdosed. I don't know what the dosage is. It's just a pill
Okay.
capsule. I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. I love it. But I actually like tripped on mushrooms for the first time 3 weeks ago.
For the first time.
First time, yeah. I went with Jessica Michelle Singleton. And
Oh, I
her-
saw
and
this
her
trip
friend
on
buddy.
the
Yeah.
on the gram.
Yeah,
It looked
maybe
like a lot of fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah,
It was
that's so
really
dope.
fun. But it was, I mean, if you're gonna do mushrooms, do it with someone you like know and love
Yeah.
like deeply, who's like a safe person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I did it with, I'm one of my closest friends in the entire world, like inside comedy and outside, is Jessica Michelle. So it was like, a very like safe, positive experience. But holy motherfucking shit. Wow.
First
That is
time.
a drug that every human being should do. Every human being should have to work in a restaurant or the service industry in some capacity at some point. I think everyone, that's a mandatory experience. And I think mushrooms should be a mandatory experience.
Check
Really?
and check.
Okay.
It is. I'm obsessed with mushrooms.
I like psychedelics because they peel back sort of that veil to sort
Yeah,
of like
you
reality,
really
take you out of
just
your
can't.
ego.
There is no filter. Like everything that is going on in your head comes right on out. Like it's crazy. It really just. It's not. I keep being like, oh, it expands your mind. I don't think it expands your mind. I think your mind is
Perspective, maybe.
already expanded. Like our minds are crazy places, crazy spaces, but we don't necessarily have the ability to access those crazy parts of our mind, and that's what mushrooms.
That's so cool. I'm
Do.
so down to do it. But my boyfriend said he won't do it with me.
Do not do it
So
with your boyfriend.
I won't.
Do it with like girlfriends.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
all right.
down because
Okay.
I've been actually talking to someone about wanting to do mushrooms. It's been years for me. So
Yeah, I'm
it's,
down.
Do it. Do it.
Put
do
it on the calendar, I
Yeah.
guess.
Oh God,
And
have you done it?
bring your podcast equipment
Yes.
for real.
Paul, you down? We're gonna shroom in here.
Do not shroom here.
No.
Go to
No.
the desert. Do not do it here.
I feel like we have to do it
do it
somewhere,
somewhere
in
like-
nature.
Yeah, nature. I can't,
Joshua
it's-
Tree.
Joshua Tree was.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's where last time.
I don't know. You can't see the stars in LA, and I don't know where
Yeah.
you guys grew up, but I grew up in Michigan, so you could see the stars in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And the stars in Joshua Tree are so infinite. It's crazy. You can see all the stars so well. It's to the point where you're like, holy shit, I didn't even know there were that many. It's It is truly wild.
Where'd you guys stay when you went to Joshua Tree?
We rented a house, like, in Joshua Tree. Like, our backyard was Joshua Tree.
Hell yeah.
There was nothing around us. It was at night. You could hear coyotes, like, murdering animals.
Just you two?
No, it was me, Jessica, Michelle, her friend Buddy. So the first night when we did mushrooms, it was just the three of us. And that was rad. And then the next night, it was Buddy's birthday weekend, and he had a bunch of people come out. And so he had a bunch of his friends come out. And then the next night, there were 3 or 4 other people. I can't remember. And it was great. It was just awesome.
How
And
long was your trip each time?
I only tripped one night.
4 hours? 5 hours?
It was like 4 or 5 hours. I took a lot.
That's not that, like 4 or 5 hours. That's like normal, I think.
I don't know, but
That's normal compared to microdosing, yeah.
But it was just like this awesome ride because there's a point where it like starts creeping in and you're like, I don't know if it's working. Should I take more?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it starts to hit and you're like, mother of God, what? Like everything starts to like look a little weird. You don't necessarily like hallucinate, but like colors are more vibrant. You know, your depth perception's a little off because your pupils are just hella dilated and just bringing in so much information to your brain. And then
there's a pulsating sometimes.
Yeah, there's a pulsating. There's like a light grid. You see this weird light grid. I don't even know. I don't know. It was
Really?
But you're not detached from reality. Like, you
Okay.
can
No,
still function.
Yeah, you're not like what is reality? Like
What's
I did
his
Special
name?
K
There
in
was
college, and that was a moment where I was like, somebody please. I was like, I will never do this again because I kept,
Salvia?
oh no, Special K.
Oh, Special K, yeah,
Like
Is that
K-holes.
like K-holes.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
ketamine?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that
ketamine.
Okay.
So I remember doing that in college, and like
Yeah.
there was this guy sitting
yeah,
next
Kella,
to me,
you feel
and
like
I
you're
kept
detached from your body, right?
Totally. I kept grabbing this dude's arm. I was like, "Will you just tell me everything's gonna be okay?" He's like, "I don't know if everything's gonna be okay." I was like, "That's the worst answer you could have
So
possibly
not a
given
reliable
me."
person.
So I had a similar response to salvia.
Yeah,
That was actually the first psychedelic I ever tried, and it was a horrible mistake. Well, I'm glad I had the
Have
experience.
you guys
now.
ever watched? She's done it, so she knows.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen salvia done on YouTube?
YouTube,
People
yeah.
do salvia
No.
videos.
Complete detachment from reality.
Really?
No one told me that, by the way. You can't give someone salvia and not
I'm
tell
sorry,
them they're
bitch.
completely.
You didn't research and like watch the videos of
Yeah.
people doing
I
salvia.
did, but like I've never had that experience. Remember, I never tried psychedelics, so I did not know what that experience would
Oh
be.
my God. I
I've
watch
gotten-
people doing salvia and I'm like, never doing that. That is
Yeah.
just
I gotta
crazy.
go.
And I've
Go
done
I
other
gotta go
stuff
YouTube
at
this.
the time.
I've been
it's
YouTubing.
truly entertaining.
I've been YouTubing the weirdest things for like auditions. Like I had to learn what it's like to be high after doing whippets. And I'm like, I didn't even know this was a
The
thing.
llamas.
And so so then I had to
wanna do
research
whippets.
that, and then somebody was talking
Oh,
about
I love
mushrooms, so I
whippets.
researched that. So it's like, I feel like if anyone looks at my YouTube history, like they know that I'm trying to get high as fuck off of something. Like I need some help.
You gotta
I
delete
think.
your YouTube history.
Can you do that? Can you?
Yeah, I can
All
delete
right.
everything.
Okay, I gotta do
Well,
that.
I mean, not
Scrub
permanently, but
that
from like
shit.
from your
Um,
boyfriend using the browser.
I don't care what he sees anymore. But I think I was watching Andrew Schultz, and he described doing mushrooms as taking the condoms off of colors.
Oh, that's
Is
interesting.
that like accurate? Like you see colors in a completely different.
Yeah, I think just the way you're able to perceive everything just feels really rich.
Yeah. One
Interesting.
thing that
Like you're getting
one
more
thing that they did
information.
not warn me about, which I really wish they would have. Do not look in a mirror when you do mushrooms.
Oh.
I don't know.
Because
didn't have
you
an issue
look
with that.
really old. It makes you look old.
What?
That might be a fear that you
It-
have
it's
that's
a-
coming
a
out.
1,000% a fear. One of my
Yeah.
biggest fears is
your
getting
fear,
old.
your
Oh,
subconscious.
yeah.
gonna
Don't look
come
in a
out.
mirror, Zara.
I'm not looking in a mirror. I'm not.
Yeah, don't look in a
going
mirror.
to.
You'll flip your fucking
The
shit.
most important thing about mushrooms that I was told was follow the feel good. You can sort of like if you feel yourself freaking out, shift your focus to something that feels better.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do it very easily. Like
Yeah. Just
how
shift,
quickly
pivot.
your feelings can shift is wild. It's true. It's just truly one of like the
So
greatest.
if you're looking in the
experiences.
mirror, I'm gonna pull you away.
I'm not
and
gonna
show you
look
a
in the
puppy.
mirror. I'm not. I just
This
saw
is me-
myself on
this-
camera, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to me? So I'm not.
When
looking
I
at
looked in the
anything.
mirror when I was doing mushrooms, I looked in the mirror. I got in front of it and I was like, oh no, I should move.
But what if you had a
And then
mirror
I,
in
like,
front
I,
of
like,
you?
waddled away.
What if you had a mirror in front of you and behind you, and then you had the infinity effect? On
Oh, I didn't even
mushrooms.
think about that.
That would be so tight.
That would be crazy.
I feel like we all have to go do mushrooms together after this. somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna.
I feel like part of my research is government funded, so
Oh yeah. Paul Levy's never done that.
I've never done anything bad
Yeah.
or different. I mean,
Gotcha.
You've never smoked
Got it.
weed at all?
part of my research is government funded.
She's in a
Oh, yeah,
PhD
yeah, yeah.
program,
Yeah.
so
So you
yeah.
can't.
She's never broken a law.
yeah.
But technically, doing mushrooms are not a drug. There's nothing that's going to be detected in your bloodstream because it's just a fungus.
Yeah.
It literally is a fungus.
I feel like she has a science answer for why
You know, there's
it might
she's-
be
this is just-
considered a drug.
This is just information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
Part of my research
yeah.
is government funded.
you never recorded it.
once you're done,
Once we're done recording,
I was wondering
I'll tell
why.
you how my research is government funded.
Yeah.
once you're done doing your research that's government funded, by all means, go do mushrooms.
All right. Strong.
But anyway, so I
proponent of
did mushrooms. I
Got
did
it.
mushrooms. And then I came back from the desert and I was immediately sick as shit. I was so sick to the point that I couldn't get out of bed. Not only could I not get out of bed, but then I
Nauseous?
lost my voice.
You think it was because of the mushrooms?
I don't know if it was because of the mushrooms, but that was the universe being like, oh, all of those things you thought out in the desert when you were on mushrooms, now you can't do anything about it. I couldn't talk about what happened. I couldn't write about what happened. I couldn't move.
You could. Oh, because you like physically, you
I
couldn't
was
like
just,
get on
like-
your laptop and start writing.
I mean, I could have. I was just so weak. I
Yeah.
tried writing by
Debilitated.
hand. I was just like, oh, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, I tried typing. Just everything was exhausting.
So
and then my identity got stolen.
What?
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah. I had to
What
go-
happened?
That's weird.
We're the same person.
Somebody opened up a banking and checking, a savings and checking account at B of A, where I already have an account
What?
under my name. And, you know, the Bank of America was like, oh, it looks like this account was opened up online. I was like, Bank of America, I think we know better in this digital age that you shouldn't let people be opening up bank accounts online. You should be requiring people to come in person for that. That's not an online thing.
Yeah.
Nobody can
But
just.
There
But they
are like
benefit from it.
online banking options. Like
Yeah. Once you've already opened it up in person.
no, I mean like there are places that you can't go to. There are no physical like Ally isn't a physical bank or Charles Schwab.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's banks like that where it's
Well,
only a
now
digital
money
space.
is turning into digital, so I
It's
understand.
streaming.
Yeah.
But there have got to be a few more
Yeah.
fucking barriers and
How-
hoops to jump through.
How
to
did you
get that.
resolve it? Because identity
So I
crisis is
called
difficult.
Bank of America
Yeah.
and they were like, you need to make a police report. I personally think they Wells Fargo'd me. Do you remember when Wells Fargo
Yeah.
was opening up bank accounts in people's names so they
Yeah.
could meet quotas?
Yeah.
I personally think that's what Bank of America did.
Oh,
Because
damn.
they're like, they were telling me,
Inside job.
they're like, it was opened up online. They must have had access to your social security, date of birth, and address. And I was like you?
Who told you about it? Did they tell you about
I got
the
a statement in the mail. Being
oh, so
like,
had it been open for a
being
while?
like, oh, I don't know how long it.
Whose
it
money
had
was
been
in
open
it?
like 2 months. There was no money in it,
Oh, I was
so
about to say, if there was money,
I
you
ended
didn't
up getting hit with a fee on my not real account.
Damn.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you filed a police report.
So I had to go file a police report with no voice, by the way.
Oh my god.
Sick, so sick. Went in. I was wearing a face mask because I was so sick. I was like, I'm most definitely contagious. And I get to the police department.
like a surgical mask.
Yeah, I was wearing like a
I was
Vietnamese
like-
biking mask.
Oh my
I thought you meant like a panda mask, like a
Like a-
face mask.
That'd be
You're like,
fucking
"Fuck
amazing.
it."
I'm like, I need to moisturize
Yeah.
while I fucking get my identity back.
Yeah.
So I filled out a police report, and then they assign a detective to it because I guess this is because identity fraud is like a whole thing now. They have an entirely different office for it downtown. So basically, the guy in Hollywood just files the paperwork, and he's like, someone will eventually get in touch with you. No one's gotten in touch with me. I'm just assuming there's a lot of identity theft
Yeah.
going on. So and then so they closed that account, and then I still have to call a few more places. I had to put a not a freeze, but basically I flag my social security number. So if anyone does anything with my social security number, it immediately will return a result where they're like, get other pieces of information.
How do you do this? Is this just with the bank or
Bank, and then you call like the Social Security Administration.
every time I talk to my dad, he's always talking about identity theft and like thankfully I haven't had the experience, but it sounds like a nightmare.
Oh, and mine is a best of a worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I think Indian parents are always worried about identity theft because they keep opening accounts in our name in India, and it's so easy for them.
Hilarious.
Do your parents do that?
I know a lot of parents that have like,
Yeah, I haven't had that experience. Is that something? I didn't know that.
That's a thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. I mean, people have like properties under their kids'
Yeah.
names like
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah.
So it's a thing.
But where they're affecting
Wow,
your
those are some fucking crazy parents.
Well, I know like it's not uncommon
Yeah.
for like people with credit issues to open accounts in their kids' names, sometimes babies.
That's crazy.
So then, and then if you don't pay those bills, then you're fucking up your kids' credit, right?
yeah,
And they're
that's crazy.
I definitely have friends whose like families have like fucked up their credit before they even turned like 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was
rough.
devastated because my credit went from 775 to 705, and I was like, no.
Isn't that still great?
That's still a good
It's still really
score.
good, but it's
Yeah.
not 775.
Yeah.
Because of this whole like issue.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I have some medical debt that brought me down to 666.
Oh, wow.
That's the devil.
Play this podcast backwards and you'll hear a message.
Oh my God, that's really. What was the debt from?
I did an edible at Comic-Con years and years ago when I was very underweight, and I passed out, and they called an ambulance, and
And you didn't have health insurance?
I did have health insurance, but they didn't count it as ER. They counted it as urgent care. So I was charged for everything. And I was like, nah, 2,000 for like, it was dehydration.
Just so you know, if you guys ever get a medical bill that you're having a hard time paying, just call me and I'll help you.
What do you
I'll
mean?
help you get it down. Yeah.
Oh,
Can
well,
you just tell them that I can't afford this, right?
That's literally what you do.
And then they'll like try to negotiate with what you can pay.
And then
But
you're
I'll
like,
tell
nope,
you this
can't. And
much.
then they'll give you a number and you'll be like, nope, just keep saying no. And then it'll eventually be like, well, what can you pay? And you'll be like, all right.
because
$15.
because they bought the debt from the hospital. That's the thing is the money's not even going to the hospital.
Oh,
at
so
this
you
point.
went to collections.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why it's all fucked up. Okay.
Yeah, when you go to collections, then it's
Yeah,
like
you should have
it-
started with collections because I was
Yeah.
just like, you just owe a hospital money and it's ruining your credit.
No, it's,
yeah, you went
Yeah,
to
once it
collections,
goes
yeah.
to collections, your credit's gonna be screwed until you pay that.
But you
off.
know what? I think medical
Even
bills
after.
are a second tier credit thing. So it's not like, it's not like not paying a credit card or something.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not as hard of a hit as,
Because
as a credit
666,
card.
that's not a terrible score.
Yeah.
It's not terrible, but I mean, if you try to like get a car or a loan or whatever, you're gonna
You're gonna
get
be
like this
paying
crazy interest
Yeah,
rate.
you're gonna be paying a higher interest
yeah,
rate.
it's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
What's good credit?
anything
in the
over
700s?
700? Yeah,
Yeah.
anything over a 700. Yeah.
Damn, I gotta fix my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do that. I feel like there's people don't really talk about financial health as much as they should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Carrying debt on your credit cards is not good. I have a lot of debt on my credit cards, so that might even be part of the reason my score has dropped, but it was such an extreme drop over a period of time. But it's fiscal response. There are so many comedians. I was just talking to a comedian today, and he was like, "Oh, I gave my 30-day notice at my apartment, and I have to leave, but I can't get another apartment because I have an eviction on my credit." And I was like, "Why
What?
would you leave where you're leaving
Yeah.
with an eviction?" I was like, "Did you think you were gonna get a place with an eviction on your history?" And he's like, "Yeah, I got this place." And I was like, "Did your landlord do you have a shady landlord?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, there you go."
Yeah. Now you need to find another shady landlord.
Yeah. If you want to continue to live in shit ass places with shit ass landlords, yeah, take your eviction on your credit history and go for it. But you should have just stayed where you are because now you have to go through the process of finding another shady
But
dude.
there's so many people whose credit's fucked because of student loan debt. So many people.
Yeah.
Just completely and utterly fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge
evictions
problem.
evictions will actually fuck your credit history more than
Yeah.
Really?
debt or owing money. Yeah, eviction will fuck you up.
Yeah. but
Nobody
speaking-
wants to give you money or lend you anything
if you have
if you have an eviction
Yeah.
on your credit.
Yeah.
'Cause that's like, I guess that's like the base needs, and if you can't meet those,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, the whole like college debt thing, that's a huge thing that's like on like the political agenda for
Yeah.
all the 5,000 Democrats who are running for president.
Yeah.
You know?
Is it 5,000? I thought it was 6,000.
I don't know. I have no
It's
idea.
crazy,
I
yeah.
don't know. But it's a
Yep, just went up to 7.
yeah. But it's like
She
it's a
got an alert.
problem of our generation because like they, you know, like America sold us this dream to like go to college, and then everyone like took out loans to go to college, and we all got these interest rates that just like they ballooned up. So it's like even if you could pay your college loans for the rest of your life and maybe not pay them off.
Yeah.
It's like it's that bad. It's,
But the crazy
Yeah.
thing about college loans, if you have a college loan and you're consistently paying it off, you actually will have a really good credit score
That's
because
true.
of it.
yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because it shows that you can make that
Yeah.
payment.
Yeah. But then you
That's-
never pay it off.
Yeah. Well, it's just like another.
But they reward you
huge
with
bill.
a really great. They reward you with really great
Sure.
credit.
So then I
You
have
have
a
no
mortgage.
money.
I have a mortgage
great credit.
and a student loan.
Uh-huh.
And I'm 50 years old. This is great. I'm
Yeah.
never paying off college.
Anything.
I
Like,
think
ever.
it's also
Great
like,
credit, but no
career-dependent
money.
as
Yeah.
well.
That's
was
true
that?
too.
It's also like career dependent as well because I want to look this up to make sure, but I have heard, I'm not sure, that like the people who with the highest student loan debt are like medical doctors, like law school, like all
Lawyers,
of that
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
and they're able to pay it because of their high earning potential, right?
Mhm.
Whereas I think like most people don't have that much debt, but they just can't pay that much
Yeah.
off. Like it's not that much comparatively, but
Yeah.
so like a lot of the burden when you're talking like I think I just looked up like $1.5 trillion, like a lot of that is like the medical or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's paid off.
But even that, like I have friends who are lawyers and doctors, and they're like in their careers now where they're making money, but also they also have a house and they have kids and they have so it's like that, I mean, they will pay it off, but like it's gonna be 30 years until they like reduce their $200,000
It's such an
in debt.
inflated
But they-
expense.
you know?
They also like know that they're gonna pay. That's why they got the house and the kids and stuff too,
Yeah,
right? Like
but-
they're like built in. It's built into the life of a doctor. That I'm gonna pay this off when I'm like 40,
Yeah.
but I'm also gonna have that life that I want.
But
Yeah.
also, it also depends where you are. Like, if you're a doctor in, like, say, Los Angeles versus whether you're a doctor in, I don't know, Little Rock, Arkansas, the timing of, like, how long it will take for you to pay off your debt is going to be dependent on that, too. So it's like you're being penalized because you decided to practice medicine in Los Angeles versus Little
Yeah.
Rock, it's like that has to go into consideration
We're all
as well.
penalized when we live
Yeah.
in LA.
Yeah,
I
This
mean,
shit's
it's like pretty
expensive.
horrendous.
It's also like
either
earning
way.
like life cost of living versus like earning,
Yeah.
like all of that
But
stuff.
cost of living and earning, that doesn't go into consideration when you're paying off your student loan debt.
Yeah.
Not by
mean-
the government or the banks or whoever has lent
It's
you
by
money.
you though, like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
decisions.
I was pre-med and
But it's still rough.
now the people who I went to I was pre-med with, they're all like doctors now, like full-blown doctors. And
Yeah.
I look at their lives and like there's some of them that are making crazy ass
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Like I look
Yeah.
at the vacations they're going on and I'm like, oh, if I'd stayed the course.
My friends were
would
software
be my
engineers
life.
at Google at 22.
Yeah,
So it's like
they're good.
Yeah.
they've been good. They bought
Yeah.
houses at 24.
Yeah.
Like,
But the
in
process-
That's
Bay.
some crazy shit.
But the
Mhm.
process.
Yeah, my
to
brother's
getting
my
by.
brother's bought his first house in his late 30s, and he was an engineer at Apple.
Yeah.
But he couldn't afford how much he was making. He couldn't afford to live in the area where Apple was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like he was just house poor for a couple years, and then started saving up money, and then finally decided to buy a house. But he didn't want to buy a house until he was like 100% certain he had enough money to like really afford a house.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Bay is just so expensive.
It's
It's astronomically
crazy,
unfairly
crazy.
expensive.
Like the house my brother got for how much he paid. I'm like,
Yeah.
that house in
Gross.
Michigan, no. Wouldn't you, that
Yeah.
house in Michigan would be like 300,000.
Yeah, people are paying millions of dollars for like bullshit houses in
Bullshit
San
house,
Francisco. Like it is disgusting.
Yeah.
And then like you step outside and it also smells and looks disgusting. And I'm like, I can't. For me, I like going to San Francisco, but I can't fathom like ever
Yeah.
living there. It's just not my place.
Not a thing.
I like how
Yeah.
it looks. I just don't like that it smells like urine. Which is what it like this video.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you used to be.
Sorry, I was gonna go into it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, so you were pre-med.
Yeah.
I mean, and you
you
were talking
studied
about staying the
daily.
course, but would you have really? Because everyone in my family is a doctor. We've talked about it, but like, it's such a hard lifestyle especially like getting to that
Getting
place where you
to
get
that
licensed.
place is a rough lifestyle, but once you're there, I mean, like, I was either going to be a child psychiatrist or a dermatologist. Like, both of those are
Yeah.
pretty luxe
But
schedules.
it's really hard to become a derm. It's very
Those
it's
are
most
competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, residencies.
I would have been really good. I feel like I would have.
You're so smart. I think
and you have
would've
great
done fine.
skin.
Yeah.
I have great
You
skin.
have
I mean, what an
great
easy
freaking
sell.
skin.
What an
Yeah.
easy sell. There is part of me. I got into an Uber a few weeks ago, and when I got in, I was sitting in the car for, I don't even know, 3 minutes. Indian dude, and he was like, "Are you a doctor?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" He goes, "You seem like a doctor." By the way, guys, I was dressed like I'm dressed right now. I was like, what about holes in my jeans, a tank top, and a hoodie is like, she's a doctor. He's like, I don't know, there's just something about you that's pretty doctorish.
And then he disappeared into the night.
Yeah, and then he was like, poof, and it was the self-driving car. I was like, yeah, no, not a doctor. I was like, funny enough, I was going to be a doctor. And in all of the years that I had, finished college, I had never questioned being a doctor, honestly, until that moment. That was the first time I'd ever questioned, like, maybe I
course-
should be a doctor.
Of course, an
Yeah.
Indian
A
man would
fucking
make you
mystical-
question
a mystical
not being a doctor.
Indian man.
They're just out here telling everybody. We thought it was us the whole time. They want everyone to be doctors.
Yeah.
Dude, he was like,
He took you back to a future.
He was a Bengali Indian dude, and I was just like, y'all are mystical.
You watched
you
a little
back to a place.
princess.
So you have a long love of South Asian culture.
Ooh.
I have a long love.
Long history of like that's your like you. I remember we've talked about it. You're like you're into it, right?
I'm
South Asian
Yeah, I
culture.
wanna not be here. I wanna all South, like any Asian food, Southeastern Asia. Like I just want to live there. Like that is all I want. Like the food, the culture, the everything, the way of life, the pace of life, the cost of life. I'm into all of it. But I grew up with so many Indians. Like the last name Patel was maybe 30% of my phone book.
Where in Michigan did you grow up?
Detroit, right outside.
Yeah.
Of
Okay.
There's also like
Okay.
a lot of
There's a
Afghani or
huge-
Yeah,
Afghani
there's a
people.
Afghani,
huge Middle
Pakistani,
Eastern
yeah, huge Middle Eastern population. Yeah. My high school was like the United Nations. It was wild.
My high school was like that too in Jersey. But like I had like I jokingly tell people this, but I think it's accurate. We had like 10 pages of Patels
Yeah.
in my yearbook.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah.
no exaggeration.
Yeah.
Absolutely 10 pages. of
So if you were in like the smart kid classes, like the honors and AP classes,
Yeah.
it's you may have been the minority in your classes.
no,
Were
I,
you?
I was there were AP classes. I didn't take a lot of APs just
Mhm.
because they were too much work.
Mm-hmm.
But there was just everybody was my high school. There's no way I was ever like a majority because it was just such a good spread of people. I mean, as a
Right.
Jew, there weren't many of me.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a good spread. Every class was like wildly diverse.
Did you go to school with who's that guy? Jugmeet.
Yeah,
Jugmeet
Yeah, he was my brother's year.
Singh.
The
is his name?
Jagmeet Singh. Yeah, the
Who's Jagmeet
he's
Singh?
I gotta pull him up. You tell them.
he's a Sikh Indian guy in Canada who's
Oh shit!
yeah.
I think I know.
Yeah, he's anyways, he married a fucking princess. Oh god, I loved him so much. He was my brother's year. I was obsessed with
is.
him.
So he's very handsome.
Oh,
So
I've
handsome.
seen. Wait, why do I know this guy? I've seen.
He's,
this
Canadian
thing.
lawyer and politician serving
a
as
politician
leader of the new
in-
Democratic Party
yeah,
since
yeah.
2017.
Oh
Member of
yeah,
Parliament.
I've seen this.
He gave
guy.
a speech.
Yeah.
Somebody attacked him. They're like, "You're Muslim." He's like, "Actually, no, not." And his retort to this man was like so beautiful and so just this man came at with him with like such anger and vitriol and Jagmeet came back with him with like love, just like fucking beautiful love. And I was like, that's why I love him.
That's sweet.
had
Yeah,
a
he
big
was
crush on
he
him
was
in high
older than me.
school.
Oh, I was in love with him. He was older than me, and I was always like, I love him. And then I saw him on the TV when that guy like yelled at him, and he came back, and I was like, that's my boo. And then I found out he was marrying another a Sikh Indian girl.
And she's a princess.
She girl looks like a goddamn princess. Their wedding was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life.
Indian weddings really are.
I crashed
pretty.
my brother's high school reunion because I thought Jagmeet was gonna be there.
You could have had free healthcare by now.
Well,
I was like, give me that man. He's just like a perfect, like brown dudes with hair. That's my thing.
That's
your
every
thing?
brown
Oh, it's
dude.
my
Is
everything.
that
That's
is that your
every brown
type?
dude.
Yeah,
Beard,
brown dude with
beard
beard,
hair,
beard,
face
Is
beard
that your
hair,
type?
fa-
Have you hooked
beard
up
hair
with?
and body hair?
Have you hooked up with
DJ Sundu.
brown men? Yeah, DJ
Yeah, I've
Sandu.
hooked up with the rainbow. The only have I made out with a Japanese dude. But otherwise no, I made out with a Korean. I've made out with a lot of people. I've been around the block. But yeah, God, I love that guy so much. But I love my I would say across the board the country I'm always most frequently attracted to is Afghani, for sure. Like no
that-
question.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
because you grew up in that
Probably.
area?
I mean, I grew up. There were a couple Afghani guys in my school. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's just like
Those are
consistently
the men that you find the
Isn't
most
Fahim
attractive.
consistently
Afghan?
Yeah, Fahim's
consistently
Afghani.
most attractive.
He's the world's crush.
Yeah, he is so.
Comedy
Oh, he's so
world
cute. He is
Yeah.
so cute. Yeah,
Is he everybody's comedy crush?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does he know it?
probably.
He seems like he's very like down to earth.
Yeah, he's got big dick energy though. He's got that confident big dick energy. But yeah, I love him. He's a great guy. He is fucking crazy smart, that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aerospace engineer.
Yeah, yeah. He worked at Boeing. I met him way before I even did comedy. I met him. We had a mutual friend, and he had just moved here. He was like, "Yeah, I gotta go to work." We were all eating at the Cafe 101. I was like, "Oh, I thought you were, a comedian." I was like, "What? I didn't know that comedians had jobs. I didn't know how it worked. This was way before I did comedy." And he was like, "Yeah, I have a day job. I work at Boeing." And I was like, "You work at Boeing? And then you just do comedy at night?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's crazy. All right, well, have a good one." And then I started doing comedy, and I saw him, and I was like, "Hey," and he's like, "Crazy." I was like, "Yeah, I have a date now." And I worked at a restaurant when I started comedy. But yeah,
I like that you like bonded with me too when you realized I was a nerd. I'm like, fucking, you have so much nerd love.
oh,
It's
so
so
much nerd,
sweet.
the most nerd love. I love it. I just love science. There's nothing more complex yet so simple. Like once you understand, there's always an absolute. There's always an answer. Like you will like the whole idea of like chaos theory is like there is order in chaos. Like chaos is an infinite. A pattern will repeat at some point. So it's like if you stick with anything long enough, you'll find the pattern in it. And I just think that's so beautiful. Like I love symmetry. Like who was I talking about? I don't remember who I was talking to. Anybody? A comic recently went to the Middle East. And I was like, Islamic architecture to me is like so perfect.
It is
It's
beautiful.
so symmetrical. It makes sense. Like everything has its compartment. There's no representation of human life. Everything is just, like geometric patterns.
Yeah.
And I just think that's, to me, that is like science. Like science is just like a perfect geometric pattern. If you dig into it, you just sometimes it's harder to understand. It's crazy. Did you watch Chernobyl?
Not yet.
Okay, because chemistry was my hardest science. I could never wrap my head around chemistry.
Organic
Physics,
chemistry.
Organic chemistry was easier for me than general chemistry.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. For
Okay.
some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason, Orgo wasn't as bad. General chemistry, I was like, I don't what. But I remember watching Chernobyl, and when they were explaining like chemical structures and whatever, and like nuclear fusion, I was like, why couldn't they have explained it like this in fucking chemistry class? I would have understood it then.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's just like the practical application of chemistry. That for me is what was like missing in class, and I don't think
Oh,
I
yeah.
ever completely got. It was just
It's
like
just numbers.
it was like here's the periodic table of element. Here's the gases, and it's just like what? Like give me the practical explanation. It's like they would be like, yeah, this is what air is, but it's just I don't know. Those were the easy parts of chemistry, but once it got more complex, it was just so hard. But Chernobyl's awesome. You have to see it.
It's been on my list for a while. I
It's-
just got my boyfriend's HBO password like 6 months ago, so I'm like now catching up.
I'm sorry,
With-
you just
Got
got your
it
boyfriend.
6 months.
Yeah.
And how long have you guys been together?
2 years.
She finished Game of Thrones in a month. The whole series.
I think 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I had things to catch up on. So it was Game of Thrones. I'm almost done with Veep, and then
I'm
move
I'm
on
about
to
to do Veep. Is it great?
Oh,
Veep.
it's so
Veep is
amazing.
so good.
I like have a newfound respect for Julia Louis.
I've always loved her. I have
Yeah.
a huge crush on her.
I mean, I
like,
loved her in
she's-
Seinfeld
but
too,
but her career has been amazing. It's like
Amazing.
the perfect career.
Yeah, she went from Seinfeld to New
SNL
Adventures
to
of Old.
Seinfeld.
SNL, Seinfeld, New Adventures of Old Christine.
Veep.
Veep.
Yeah.
Season of Curb.
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 Yeah.
Yeah. She's so amazing. Like I
Yeah.
love her so much.
But I think it's because she's so talented, and I've heard rumors that she's like a very cool, chill person.
Yeah.
So I think that
I hope
helps.
so. That's always a bummer when you meet somebody
Yeah.
Did y'all
and they
do-
just suck.
Did y'all do Stranger Things yet? Stranger
Yeah,
Things.
I did
I'm
it.
in
Yeah.
the middle of
That's-
that.
I did
last
that. Yeah, I
season.
finished
So
it.
good.
Yeah.
Season 3 is great.
I'm not done with it yet.
I'm never going to a
It's
mall
more
again.
intense. It's so funny.
I'm never
Um,
going to a mall again.
I did a comedy festival in Atlanta in September, the Red Clay Comedy Festival.
Mhm.
And while they filmed Stranger Things in
Atlanta?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
And when I was there, it was September of 2018. And
Were they
while I'm on
filming that?
stage, I looked down in the audience, and it's the boyfriend and girlfriend.
Millie Bobby Brown.
No,
No.
the
The older one.
The older
yeah,
ones.
yeah.
Steve and no the other.
Not Steve, the really, really, really thin girl.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Why am I blanking on her
The-
name?
Lucy.
Her little brother's part of the clique.
Yeah, her little
Yeah.
brother's part of the clique.
She's
Yeah.
she's in the newspaper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ones who worked at the newspaper.
Yeah.
Anyways, they were sitting in the crowd.
She
They're
was
a couple,
really annoying this season.
They're a couple
though.
in real life.
Yeah.
I mean, she was definitely annoying.
Yeah.
I feel like a
Um,
lot of characters were annoying this season.
Yeah, this is.
I'm not. I don't know. I haven't finished.
It's
Go
been an
watch
interesting
Stranger Things,
season.
guys. Yeah.
But anyways, while I'm on stage, I look down from stage and I see them sitting in the crowd, and I was like, oh.
Did you call them out?
Yeah.
No, I kind of froze for a little bit because I was like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
This kid's from Stranger Things. Anyways, and then I got off stage, and then like a bunch of comics and I were like all freaking out because we're like, it's the Stranger Things kids, and we're like, should we say something to them? And when they were leaving, we're like, me and a bunch of comics were all like, we love your show. But yeah, I mean it's a great show. There's so much good stuff on. But yeah, Chernobyl fucked me up.
Yeah, I got to be in the right headspace to watch that.
Yeah, I feel like I need more time, and there's never enough time to start a new show.
Yeah.
because
Well, it's
I
very
won't do anything.
intense
I won't do
also.
anything else besides watch the show. Because we have that option now where we can just
Yeah.
waste our entire lives
Yeah.
just watching a show.
Yeah.
I recently discovered TikTok.
Yeah, what is
And-
that?
It's like the new Vine.
It's-
like
yeah.
a short video app.
Yeah, it's the new
social
Vine.
media app.
It's so they took over Musically. So it's basically you pick a sound, or you could do your own original sound, and then you could like voice over it, or you could just do like a 15-second video. And basically, all of Generation Z is on there. Like we.
How old is Generation Z? When
I
were they
think they're
born?
like after
95,
95, yeah.
95
Okay.
and younger.
You have a TikTok?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
I have one because I wanted to look at what it's about, but
Yeah.
I tried making a video and I actually died. I was like, this is
My-
it took at least 30 years off of my life.
It's
I
an
was like, well,
interesting
I'm dead
distraction.
now.
My favorite, I think I've talked to you guys about this before, but my favorite part of TikTok is the men that are like really upset about their divorces and they're like signing their divorce papers to really sad songs and like dramatically throwing their rings across the room.
I'm
like
sorry,
this is
that's
a
a
whole
thing within
subsection of TikTok is men very sad about their
I mean,
divorces.
I just figured
Yeah.
out Instagram. I can't do another platform. It's
I'm trying
ridiculous.
I'm trying to figure out other platforms. As I feel like you just have to kind of move with the.
I don't want it. What other platforms are there? TikTok?
Twitter.
I
mean,
got that.
You got
Snapchat.
Twitter.
Snapchat is what like
I
Gen
don't
Z.
do it.
I think like that's their like Twitter, their Facebook, whatever.
Do you
That's
do
their
Yeah.
Instagram.
Snapchat?
I'm like I'm getting back into it,
I can't.
but I don't really. I have to put some
too
effort.
I
in.
was doing Snapchat, and then but it's essentially the same
Same
thing as
stories,
Instagram.
yeah.
So I stopped, but I'm on TikTok, so I can understand what the younger generation is doing. Because like basically, since we did that college show,
Yeah.
and I realized like everybody was 3 when 9/11 happened, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a completely different generation with different references. So I need to understand, like what they're into.
And it's gonna
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
changing. Like there's
Yeah.
gonna be like much more accessible VR, and there's gonna be
Yeah.
like there's gonna be all sorts of things. And
Yeah.
if we wanna like stay not only relevant but like listen to people, like we have to figure out the new shit.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
listen to people on it, but at this point I don't care about staying relevant. I'm just gonna keep talking about my own human experiences, and hopefully human experiences stay relevant. Because I can't. There's just too
Well-
much to learn.
Well, it's like it's. I mean, not in terms of the content, but just like how to communicate with people.
Yeah.
Because like that's one thing with like Twitter. I'm like, oh, this is like a whole different way of communicating with
Yeah.
people. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like Twitter's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, I think as long as there's elections happening,
Yeah.
Twitter's not going anywhere. Also, if there's natural disasters happening, like the earthquake we had, Like
both of
Twitter
them?
was the first place to go
That's where I
to
get my
figure out
news.
updates.
That's
yeah.
Twitter is like
For the
pretty on
first-
top.
Yeah,
Especially
because,
for
like-
like regime changes and
Yeah.
stuff in the Middle
Yeah.
East, and
Yeah.
like it's definitely like on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Twitter.
Yeah.
You're really good at Twitter.
I thanks. I like it a lot. I've been on it for a very long time.
It's so funny. It's great.
So TikTok. So I gotta download. Oh God.
I
it's
mean,
not-
try
might-
it.
just
I don't
download
know.
it. Just download
See
it for
what
the
it
love
is.
of God and let me know how
We
terrible
must
it
Yeah.
is.
sound, we must sound so fucking old, like talking about these, because everybody's already like all the younger kids are already on it. And they're
It's
just
like
ugh.
basically anyone who went to prom this year is on TikTok. Like
Yeah.
it
We're
was
getting
all
older.
Dude,
Why don't they like
my-
Instagram?
My best
Isn't
friend
it the
from
same thing,
college, her
stories, right?
kid is on
No?
TikTok and thriving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And her
Yeah.
kid's like 6.
Are there
or
TikTok
7.
celebrities?
Yes, there are TikTok
Oh, yeah.
celebrities. Yeah.
Oh, that's like the new celebrity.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there are TikTok celebrities for sure.
And
it's
the-
like
I
a whole
just can't
culture.
figure out the
It
technology
translates.
of it.
It translates like people who are big on TikTok are big across the other, because they find your other social media. They're also like the people getting like booked for, like people who are Twitter famous are doing
Yeah.
stand up, and they're like
But
having.
like, how do you
Yeah.
like? I just don't understand the technology, like the actual execution of
It's just
anything on
practice.
TikTok.
I'm still
Just
trying to
have to
figure it
practice
out
with
too.
it. I don't really know.
It's
Yeah.
just practice. But I have noticed though there are the younger kids who are famous on TikTok. They're not using Instagram or anything else. So it's basically TikTok and Snapchat. That's
Yeah.
what they're using.
Yeah,
Like there's like this actual
Ew.
there's this funny sound
no chance.
that like a lot of like anyone who's like 30 or older who's like
Yeah.
using it as a joke. There's this girl that's like, why are all these old people on TikTok? Like why don't you just like, they're like 30 or something. Like why don't you just go back to like face or whatever you call it? And it's like this viral sound, and like a bunch of like whoever's like older than a certain age, they're like using it as a joke, because this one girl just went off and she hates 30-year-olds being like infiltrating TikTok. Like we're like the grandparents now.
Somebody said that about Twitter. They were
Yeah.
like, "Why, if you're 25 or older, why are you on Twitter or whatever?" And then everybody was like, "Cause we built this place." I think Amy
Yeah.
Miller said that or something.
Yeah.
Cause we built this.
I mean,
sweetie."
that's the response.
Yeah, this
We-
is ours.
yeah,
I
this
used,
is
by the
ours,
way,
yeah.
I used to work in social media marketing at an ad agency,
Uh-huh.
and I would like speak at social media conferences, and like I was at the forefront of Twitter. I would have to like pitch Twitter to clients. I'd have to explain what a hashtag was. That's how early I was in Twitter.
Yeah.
To the point where it what was it, 140 characters when it started?
Yeah.
Nicole is 3,000 years
I'm
old.
3,000 years
You're
old.
Great skin.
You're a
Great
pioneer.
Well,
skin.
minus
You're a
30.
pioneer.
Minus or
Minus
from looking at TikTok.
yeah. TikTok aged me 30 years.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, we should,
We should
wrap
Or
up.
plus
up, yeah,
30.
because we're all
Um,
late to shows. Okay.
Yeah.
So we should ask, who's your favorite South Asian celebrity?
Jug meat.
Jugmate, yeah.
Sorry,
Jugmate
That's
sing for
true.
sure.
you got me into jug
Or
meat.
you guys. I love all of you
we don't
guys.
count
I-
yet.
What do you
No,
mean?
we don't count on this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're,
Everybody,
yeah,
al-
well,
everybody always
Thank you,
wants to
though.
say.
Yeah, I mean, Crazy Rich Asians, that whole goddamn cast was just a pile of sexiness.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see Ali Wong's movie on?
I
Netflix?
thought it was
so
so cute.
Yeah, always be my maybe.
Yeah, did you see it?
I
was
didn't see
nice.
it. Somebody told me it was terrible, so I didn't see it.
I mean, it's a rom com.
Oh, I don't care then.
Yeah. So
I don't like rom-coms.
I generally don't, but I.
I mean,
I
but
don't-
it's
I don't
cool
want-
to
I
see
don't- I-
something
Brown.
that's different.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Rom-coms don't do it for me.
I get it.
Like, I don't care who's cast in it. It's just, rom-coms have never been, like, my thing.
What is your thing?
I love drama.
Drama.
Anything
Nicole
like
loves
dark.
drama.
I love drama. I don't like drama. I love drama. I love, I don't know, anything like dark and sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then-
Does that help you like process feelings, or is
Yeah.
it like okay?
Yeah. I just think romantic comedies, like, that's not how the way the world is. Like, I don't.
No, but neither is like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, but like, I love the darkness of Game
Yeah.
of Thrones.
Yeah,
Game
yeah.
of Thrones is a fun chess match, though. Like
Yes,
that.
it is.
That kind of does teach you like life lessons on like negotiating and being 10 steps ahead and stuff like
And
that.
Fucking your brother.
yeah.
That too.
So we have another segment now. It's a
Okay.
newer one. Women crush stuff.
Who are your women crushes?
If you want to shout anyone out, it can be anyone.
Who would my woman crush be?
Any lady that sticks out.
She's in Big
You were
Little-
actually called out as a woman crush on our podcast our last podcast.
Oh,
Last
really?
podcast.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Dave mentioned you had your headphones.
Oh, really?
While
Oh.
you were sitting behind him.
Oh, cute. Oh, thank you so much. Who does it have to be a comedian or just
No, just
comedian?
It
anybody.
could be anybody.
I just want to shout out women.
I mean Lizzo. I am so
Fucking
obsessed
love
with her.
Lizzo.
I really
yeah.
love her so much. All of the girls in Game of Thrones, I love all of them. They're all pretty magical people.
I love looking at their Instagram.
I mean, I was talking to her right before I came in here. So Hannah Einbinder,
She's so great.
I love her. She's like,
Mhm.
we have this like sister relationship. It's kind of crazy. And also a mom relationship at the same time. I feel like that's kind of just my general vibe in comedy is I
Sister
have
mom.
assumed this position
You're very
of sister
nurturing.
mom.
You're
Yeah.
very nurturing and sweet
Yeah.
and, you know, safe.
Are you a
Yeah.
doctor?
Yeah.
Are you have a
That's
doctor
probably why
vibe.
too.
That's what it is. I got in there and I was just like, I'm here to listen. But yeah. So yeah.
Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything cool coming up?
I've got a podcast with Nikki Bond.
Oh yeah.
She's
called,
so
called
great,
Getting to
too.
Know You. I love her so much. Called Getting to Know You. And there's my podcast and then any fun shows coming up anytime soon. I mean, I'm at the Comedy Store a few nights a week. I'm not going on the road for a while. In September, I'll be back on the road. I'll be at the Comedy Cellar in Vegas the second week
Hey.
of September. The third week of September, I'll be in Michigan. I'm doing the Motor City Comedy Festival. That's going to be amazing. And then I'll be in New York after that doing some shows there. I'll probably be there for like a week. And then I'm doing the DC Improv in October with Dave Attell. I mean, if you guys really want to just book out your calendar, I'm either in LA
Yeah.
for the next 2 months, or those are the places I'll be in September and October.
Just
So.
Yeah.
tell them where they can find your dates and stuff.
Social
'cause-
media. I don't post my dates too much ahead of time because I'm a lazy sack of shit and I should probably get better at that. But at Nicole Aimée, NicoleAimee, or Nicole Aimée, whichever works for you. NicoleAimee. Don't find me on TikTok. Don't find me on Snapchat. Only find me on
Find her
Twitter,
or in a
Instagram,
in a hospital practicing her craft.
or in a hospital working on TikTok. I'll be in a nursing home and doing my TikTok. Wouldn't that be hilarious if somebody in a nursing home like worked with all of the patients there to do TikToks and like all of a sudden like there's this one nursing home in like Iowa that goes viral?
That would be fun to watch.
I swear to God, if a fucking nursing home goes viral before me, I'll murder them.
I mean, just wait a few.
Yeah, you're like, give it
Yeah,
a week, all right?
Yeah, you'll be
Dope.
cool.
So, we're Facial Recognition Comedy, facialrecognitioncomedy.com. You can find us at Facial Recognition Comedy on Facebook and Instagram, Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter, and we have a bunch of shows coming up that Pallavi might want to tell you about.
Yes.
You want to tell them about it?
Second Sunday of every month at Westside Comedy Theater in Santa Monica at 9 p.m.
Wait, real quick, sorry to interrupt. Do you guys take non-brown girls for your show?
So
Not-
we
Yet.
We're talking about
we're
it.
going to expand to other.
Demographics.
Yeah.
Technically, I am white. I represent as white, but I will still get called a dirty Jew.
Okay, Nicole, do this.
So,
Nicole Aimée, do this. Find 5 comics you get confused with, and we'll talk about maybe putting
Yeah.
a show together.
okay.
Anyone
Yeah.
you can get mistaken for will, and they're good comics. We'll put you all
Or
on the same show.
a bunch of hyphenated female comic
That'd be
names. So
funny.
Yeah.
JMS
Three
and
name-
you
JMS,
and
me.
who else?
I don't know. Who are the other 3 namers? They're out there.
Yeah,
They are.
that could be fun.
That'd be
Yeah.
fun.
All right,
Okay.
stay tuned.
No,
listeners.
I've got to continue.
Oh, yeah,
sorry,
I
sorry.
got all
sorry.
the dates.
So,
All the dates.
by the time this comes out, you will have missed our July 14th show, but our next show at Westside is on August 11th at 9 p.m. We are also coming to the Irvine Improv July 23rd at 8 p.m., and we're coming to New York. We have a monthly there. It's going to be July 26th at 11:30 p.m. and August 30th at 11:30 p.m. at New York Comedy Club, the Midtown location. Bitches be touring.
Yeah, we're excited, guys. Our social. Well, my social is Fizza Dasani at Fizza Dasani, FIZAADOSANI @a.com. If you want to go to the website.
This is Zara. I'm really Zara on all the social medias. Zara is spelled ZAHRA.
Pallavi Ganalan, PALLAVIGUNALAN. That's my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, and my website.
And you want to shout out Dirty Science? That's new. Have
Oh,
you talked
yeah.
about that on here?
We haven't talked about I don't think we have. I do a web series every Monday, which I haven't posted yet today. We have to post after. But I post it every Monday, and it's on my Instagram, and it's on my YouTube, youtube.com/polyveganol-and-comedy. And I explain a different science topic through a comedic lens, and it's for adults, so I can swear.
Dope. Did you want to add anything?
Nope, I'm
See?
good.
Nicole, you want to leave us with something poignant?
The only bone in the human body that doesn't articulate with another bone is the hyoid bone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't know I needed that.
Yeah. And the longest word in
learned-
the English language is pneumono-ultramicroscopic silicone volcanoconiosis.
Wow. I learned 2 new things today.
Can you text that to me?
Sure.
I mean,
No.
like,
Use
I
up-
actually would
it'll-
like to see the word.
It'll
in
use up your data.
I have
snap.
Too
unlimited.
much data. It'll
Thanks,
use up all my
Nicole.
brain power. Between that and TikTok, I'm dead.
Oh, no.
Bye,
We can't have
guys.
that. Bye.
Bye.